Today on Kevin's European Garage, I'm going to be taking out the fuel pump on my 996 over here. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that fuel sender, maybe the fuel pump if I have to, and find out exactly what is rattling in there and just verify that is what's going on before I order the part. Always disconnect the negative first. Those were 13s. All right, so now let's start taking this stuff apart. I'm gonna press on these tabs. I'll do our best to keep these out of the way. And unfortunately, I don't have the spanner for this, so I'm just gonna have to use a screwdriver and a hammer to loosen this up. Let's move this gunk out of the way first. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a mark with some Sharpie just so I know exactly where it goes. Alright, so we're going to tap on this with the hammer. Try not to tap too hard, hopefully it comes undone. So that's that. So you gotta disconnect the electrical line underneath here for the pump. And then we got two fuel lines over here. There you go. And now you just gotta remember how this thing goes back in when you take it out. And let's just take a look inside there, make sure there's nothing that's floating around that shouldn't be floating around inside here. So you can get this thing out. You're supposed to be able to twist it, kind of get it out. Nothing like put your hand directly in gasoline. Come on, let's get out. All right, so this thing is a pain in the butt to get out. You gotta turn it about a quarter turn. Sometimes they fight you. This one is fighting me, and you just have to push it hard. Sometimes you think you're gonna break it, but you really aren't going to, and you just kind of have to pull it out. Then now you gotta pull it up. Careful of the cables. Loose up first. That thing just barely fits. There we go. So here's your fuel pump. We're here, and let's get this on the bench and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so we have the complete unit here out of the car. You got your fuel pump, with the actual pump inside over here, inside this little housing, kind of like acting like a little reservoir. So this thing is still full of gas. This was kind of a pain in the butt. You have to turn it counterclockwise. It gave me a hard time turning. It really didn't want to turn, and then all of a sudden it finally let go. And when you think that you're going to almost break it, is when it let go. At least for me. The real culprit of this whole thing, this thing is quiet. This thing wasn't shaking, it wasn't making any noise in there. The whole culprit is this. So every time you go over a bump, just rattling away. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this apart. We're going to take a look at this little ball on the inside over here. All right, so let's disconnect these wires, or at least move them out of the way. Doesn't look like Yeah, they're all soldered on here, so we really can't do anything with that. So we're just going to disconnect them. I'm sorry, move them out of the way. Not that I'm going to use this again, but I still don't want to damage the wires. You know, just in case. I might save it just in case for something. You never know. Alright, so we got those out of the way. Like I said, it's soldered over here. So now we're going to disconnect this little bottom section with a floater. It looks like it just gets compressed inside there, holds it in place. Also hold this nice and tight. So take this out. There we go. Alright. Now what's left is this portion over here. Let's get a couple tabs. There we go. Slide this off. So look at that, a ball. It's gotta be some sort of breather type thing or something like that, but I don't think it's supposed to really rattle and shake like how it was. Alright, so it looks like I'm gonna go and get a new one of these. That thing's actually got some weight to it too. Nice marble. You wouldn't want to be hitting the head with that thing. But before I close this thing up and set the car aside for a little while, I'm gonna put the fuel pump back in. I'm just gonna crimp down these connectors. I don't really like how easily they kind of come off over here. Not that they probably come off inside the in the fuel tank. I'm just gonna crush them a little bit so that they fit on better. Where'd it go? Yep, looks like I maybe crushed them a little too much. All right, so I have to bend that one back out. All right. See how this fits. All right, those are on there nice and tight now. Now I'm gonna put this back in the tank. All right. Sorry, it's hard to see down there. That was a lot easier going in than coming out. All right, so now I'm just gonna cover up this with a plastic bag and rubber band so it doesn't stink up my whole garage. And just have to wait until I get a sending unit. Okay, so it's been a few days now, actually maybe about a week or so, and I finally got in my fuel level sending unit. So now the problem is that when I pulled it out of this one, the original one out of the car, it would make a lot of noise. Take the brand new one, same noise. But I'm not going to waste any money on it. When I tested these two together, I put vacuum on it and everything else, they act exactly the same. So there's no reason why for me to hold on to this one and put this one in the car when they're basically the same. So that being said, I'm just going to be putting this back in, and I'm going to ignore my suspension rattles for the time being, because I know it's actually not something that's rattling up there, because I've gone through everything. And yeah, so I'm just going to ignore it for the time and just drive around the car, actually enjoy it instead of pulling it apart constantly, and maybe start doing some fun stuff on it. And then you know, I'll revisit this, I think, at a later date to try to figure this thing out. But as of right now, I'm kind of tired of working on it, and for this reason, and I'm gonna abandon it for a little while. Put the old sender back in and go for a drive. I can take off the plastic bag, like keeping my garage from stinking. You know, believe it or not, it was a real pain in the butt to get two rubber bands on here. I put the pump back in, and now I just got to take out two hoses and the electrical connection. In hindsight, should probably have left a bracket that holds those two hoses together. Looks like this. Probably should have left these two on the hoses so that when I pulled it apart, I can easily put it back the same way it came off. See if I'm now that I have it out and I'm looking at it, if you just push these two together, it releases it so you can get it out. Need to come and look on the side in order to get the electrical connection for the pump in. Back over here are the two lines. Yep, those are on. And now things should just slide back in. And before I slide it back in, I gotta put the I got a new gasket, so I'm just gonna use the new gasket anyways. The old one looked like it was in pretty good shape, but I'll put the new gasket in. Just gonna have to slide it around this. Also, probably should have put this in first instead of last. Hopefully, I can squeeze it around. Come on. There we go. All right, boys and girls, don't be like me and forget your gasket. All right, gasket seated in there. Line up my little marks I made last time. Here we go. Alright, positive battery terminal first. And now the negative. So thanks for watching Kevin's European Garage. You know, didn't really fix anything. Just kind of pulled it out, put it back in. Yeah, it rattles. So does the new one. So if you hear that, then your new one rattles too. So don't buy a new one. This part here attaches to a pressure relief valve. And maybe there's something going on with that, but you know, I'm just kind of abandoning it right now. I'm just gonna deal with the rattle because like I said, I know my suspension is good. And then, you know, I'll look at it at another date. Who knows? Right now, I don't care. I just want to drive the car, have some fun. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys again soon. Okay, so I know at the end of the video, I was saying I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to do anything. Well, I took it out for a drive afterwards, and it's just like, you know, like, I'm still hearing it, obviously, because I said I didn't fix it. So, I pulled out the radio. And I had the aftermarket radio in here and everything. And what I found is that the radio was sitting there bouncing and rattling up against the metal plate that's down over here, the crossbar that goes back and forth, because it's a big double dual-din radio. So that thing was rubbing against it, because now I'm driving around without the radio in, and well, it's quiet. So what sounded like it was coming from the suspension, because it was kind of up and inside the dash a little bit, made me think it was suspension, and the whole thing was like I didn't really care too much because I knew I was going to replace everything and do a complete refresh. Anyways, I was doing my refresh not because of the rattle, because I wanted just to redo the whole suspension so I don't have to worry about it for quite some time. So that was why I was doing that. And then once I finished that and the rattle was still there, that's when I was like, okay, well, now I got to start looking into it. So, you know, I did have a rattle with that fuel level sender, which I showed you before, but, you know, that's normal because I got a brand new one and it still made the same sound. So, like I said, I took this thing out and now I've been driving around and I don't hear anything. I got a couple little squeaks and stuff, but no suspension rattle anything. You know, some stuff underneath the dash that's making some noise. But that main rattle going over bumps is gone. It is my stupid radio. So now I've got to go out and get some foam or something like that and put it up on top of the bar that's in here. And then once I do that, then I should be able to, you know, at least drive and enjoy this car for a little while. And I could search down my last couple small little squeaks and stuff like that I got inside here. You know, old car makes some squeaks, rattles a little bit, but it's so much better now. Like I can drive around without the radio off, and I like it. So I'm so much happier. So thanks for watching Kevin's European Garage. And next episode should be something fun because now I don't have to chase after this rattle anymore, and I'm going to be doing something fun to the car. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon.